How's it going, YouTube? I'm Adam.
I'm Christina.
And we are
The Watsons.
And we are with Big Sky Blessing. So real quick, we like to do travel videos. That's our goal. We're trying to improve at this every video. As you can probably tell, they're amateur videos. This video, first of all, to back up, we do a lot of stuff in Mexico because Christina's originally from Mexico and she's got family scattered all over the place. Everywhere.
Mexico.
So we do a lot of cool videos and we show you how to go down to Mexico and enjoy Mexico for what it is, not just living at some resort. So, hey, real quick, YouTube. I've went over this material so many times. I'm trying to condense everything down as much as possible. There's so much information I'm trying to put in one video, and I realize I do like to ramble on too much, so I'm trying to shorten it up as much as possible. Real quick, I want to give you a sneak preview of exactly what you can get out of this video, and please stay with it all the way to the end, and you'll see why, because we got a lot of good information packed. Stay tuned. All right, so we're in Terminal 1 of the San Cabos, what is it, Los Cabos International Airport. We have decided to not partake in Mr. Biden's requirements. So now we're at the, what a day.
They can't come home until they get a negative test.
I felt almost like I was being held hostage.
Antonio Delgado and his wife Shelley were in Cabo celebrating their 20th anniversary when he tested positive on his first trip during the pandemic. He had tested positive on the 5th day of their trip and also couldn't come back to the U.S.
You know, this is like people need to watch where they go on vacation.
A local police officer stranded in Mexico with his wife after they both tested positive for COVID.
All right, YouTube, real quick. I've tried so hard condensing everything down as much as I can. As I went over a lot of this material, I realized I left out the main component of what I'm trying to stress here, and that is why we recommend, for example, in this example, we were in Cabo San Lucas, and it pretty well would work anywhere in Mexico because all the airports have the COVID testing sites. The main source of our video is why do we recommend taking the COVID test at the airport, and also what happens if you take it on the resort. So towards the end of this video, I've got a little humor to go in the video because the way the world is right now, we could all use a good laugh. So I have about 1.5 to 2 minutes of humor to make you laugh. And then I'll dive into our story of how we actually help some people that were in a really bad situation. So let's start with testing. So the reason I recommend testing at the airport is, number one, you're in charge of yourself. You test at the airport, you get the results back within about 30 to 45 minutes. I did do a video on that. I'm going to put the link of that video in the bottom of the description. If you can watch this, it's a super short video of how to take your test at Cabo San Lucas Airport. But within about 30, actually I think it took us like 20 minutes, we had our results back. You have it right there in your email. It's private. Only you get to see it. No one from the airlines, no one from the airport. If you test positive, no one's going to be calling you up saying, hey, where are you? It's time to get you in quarantine jail. That's not going to happen. You're in total charge if you test at the airport. So that's why I recommend that. Because after we got back and after we went through some stuff with some friends that you're going to see on the video here in just a minute, after all that, that's when I realized, holy smokes, I'm so thankful we tested the airport, number one. And number two, I felt like I needed to get this information out because there's a risk of taking your test at a resort. And I'm going to dive into that. You're going to see that with your own eyes. And I didn't realize this until afterwards. So towards the end of the video, please stay with us. Towards the end of this, we're going to show you some news clips of happens to some people that were taking their test at the resort. It's going to be super eye-opening. It shocked me. I know it's going to shock you. It has made me realize that I don't want no part of testing at a resort, and you'll see why I say that. And at the very, very end, I'm going to go over ivermectin. So if it's something you're not interested in, you'll be able to hit pause after the news clips, or hit end. But I will show you how to get ivermectin in Mexico if that's something that interests you. We're keeping our channel super neutral, not saying ivermectin's good or bad or any of that kind of stuff. The tips that we are going to be showing you are not recommended by the CDC. They're not recommended by the Mexican government or the U.S. government. All we are doing is telling a story of, hey, what's it like to test at the airport, why we recommend testing at the airport, and what we did to help out. So before we dive into this, real quick, so our niece was with us, and our niece did not want to travel around Mexico with Christina and I, so she decided to stay with our friends and go to this resort. So they took she was going to fly back with us, and she took her test at the resort. She tested positive, and when she tested positive, they literally got her and started almost holding her hostage. And so my friend calls me it's like, hey, man, your niece, she tested positive, and so did my daughter. They have both of them in quarantine. They won't even let us see them. It's a nightmare. He's like, you got to do something. So I decided to give the resort a call, and here's what I did. I think you'll like it.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
All right, so we're done with the humor. We hope you enjoyed that little bit. I'm crazy. That was my idea. That wasn't her idea, right?
Yeah, no. I don't even know what is going on.
Her maiden name is Guzman, and I done told the whole world she's Chapo's niece, but nobody believes me, and that ain't true.
This is not true, that's why.
All right, so the real story is this. All right, real quick, YouTube. I'm trying to shorten this down and get as much information, good, valuable information to you as quick as I can. I realize how much we ramble on, so I'm coming back and adding this video to it. So the story of our friend is this. The story of our friends that we helped. I've got a friend from Georgia that I grew up with. Him and his wife were coming down to Mexico around the same time as us. They were leaving the exact same day as us. All coincidental. We wasn't planning this. And long story short, they all tested at the airport the way I told them, hey, I recommend you testing at the airport. And when I recommended that, I was because it's so easy, it's cheap. I didn't realize that at this time, I didn't realize that a lot of resorts offer it for free. And he could have took one on the resort, but he's like, well, I'm going to listen to Adam. I trust Adam. So he's like, no, he declines the one at the resort. He takes a taxi cab to the airport, gets there like 4 or 5 hours prior to his flight, just like we did in one of the videos that I have in the description. And they took a test. Well, he's negative. His wife's negative. Guess what? His daughter comes back positive. Well, his daughter had just gotten over COVID. And before I go into how we helped them and what took place, I want you to know, we're not saying, hey, if you feel like you have COVID-19 and you feel like you're truly infected, we're not saying, hey, go jump on planes and reinfect a bunch of people and break all these rules and this, that, and the other. That's not what we're saying or condoning. But a lot of situations come up. So his daughter comes back positive, so they go to the airline ticket counter and they say, hey, look, and they show the test. And the ticket agent's like, oh, positivo. She cannot fly for 10 days. And she'll need a letter from a doctor or another negative test after those 10 days. So he's like, hey, she's negative. I promise you she don't have it. She just got over this like 2 or 3 months ago. She got over it, so she's like, well, do you have a letter from a doctor? He's like, no, we didn't think about it. We didn't think she tests negative. Well, the lady at the airline's like, hey, this is super common, but I'm sorry, you're stuck in Mexico, basically is what she told him. So he calls me in a panic. He's like, hey, I don't speak the language. He's like, what do I do? He's like, Adam, you got to help me. And we happen to be having tacos, and you'll see it in our video of how to take the test in Cabo. We happen to be having tacos. Right down the road, we still had our rental car. I'm like, hey, dude, chill out. Don't worry. We're coming to pick you up. So we hauled butt to the airport, picked all of them up, and we took them to the doctor's office in San Jose, right there close to the airport. We found a doctor that was open, and Christina was able to translate. And the guy spoke some English, but it was nice having Christina there because she was actually able to help translate and kind of get a gist of this. So the doctor said, hey, she can test positive for up to an entire year, some people do. So long story short, he's like, he wrote her a letter. He's like, he checked her out. She didn't have any symptoms. He's like, I don't think she has COVID. I don't think she's COVID positive. He's like, he wrote a letter. We went back up to the ticket counter, and the lady's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you rebook your tickets. And to back up a little bit, we actually canceled our flight that we were going to take. We just canceled it, got a travel credit. We stay pretty loyal to Alaska Airlines and Delta, and both of them are really amazing. If we want to cancel something, it's never an issue. So this particular incident, we were flying in Alaska. We canceled our reservation. We got our travel credit. So I was like, dude, we're here to help you. We're not leaving. There's no man left behind. We're not leaving you. So he's like, what the heck do we do, Adam? What do we do from here? So what we did is basically I said, hey, man, we got 2 options. We can put you in a hotel for 10 days. And Christine and I didn't have enough time to stay for that whole amount of time. I was like, we got to get back in the next couple of days. So we can put you in a hotel, or you can extend your time on a resort. And some of the resorts are even offering extra time. But after you see at the end of this video, I would not want that option. But I was like, hey, we can put you, in a resort, or I was like, we can go to Tijuana. It's a domestic flight, and we walk into the United States. No test is needed. And I said, that's what I recommend we do. So we have 2 options when we get there. We have the CBX bridge, which which is at the Tijuana airport. And we also have, we always like to stay at the Grand Hotel. He's like, Adam, I love the idea. So I jumped on Travelocity, searched Travelocity, and real quick, all I use Travelocity for, and I'm going to show you that here in just a quick video in just a second, I just use it for nothing more than a search engine, and I'm going to show you why. Hey YouTube, so real quick, I didn't explain this really well in the video. As I was putting it together, I realized that. So Travelocity, I always use Travelocity for nothing more than an investigation tool. That's it. I want to see what airlines, what times are going. So basically, let's say I want to fly from Cabo to Tijuana. That way that I can pull this up and I can say, okay, so Viva Airbus has one leaving at 3:20, it's a nonstop. Volaris has one leaving at 1:12, it's a nonstop. 6:05 p.m. Volaris has one. In fact, that's the one we flew back. It's a nonstop. So I can say, you know what, I really like that 6:05 flight. It fits exactly what I want to do. And then I just go to Volaris' website or Viva Airbus' website and book it directly. The $44 is super deceiving because you're not going to, you can't hardly, you can get just yourself on there for $44. If you have anything more than a purse, you're not going to be able to get it on. They're going to charge you for it, your carry-on, your check-in. It's way better just to buy their package like I explained in the Volaris video next. So just wanted to throw that in there. Only use Travelocity. I only recommend using Travelocity to see for a search tool. That's it. If you book directly with Travelocity and something goes wrong, guess what? The airline's not going to fix it. They're going to tell you to call Travelocity. And that's a nightmare. I've seen that be a nightmare 110% of the time. It's true with hotels. It's true with everything other than renting cars. The incident that we're talking about on the video, we actually use Volaris, and I highly recommend Volaris. But they are a budget airline, so keep that in mind. So basically their app is super user-friendly. You just simply type in, go to their app. There's something I really want to show you on here that's super important to know, and I'll explain why whenever I finish up with this part of the video. So we just flew from Cabo to Tijuana. So let's say we were going to book this ticket one way on the 9th. Simply just search for what we want. And let's say we wanted this 112 nonstop flight. So as you look on the app, you'll see Basic, Classic, and Plus. So if you're checking a bag, so the way these budget airlines work, if you pay for everything up front, it's the cheapest. If you wait till you get to the airport, it's the absolute most expensive. If you wait until you check in, it's a little bit more expensive. So if you just do everything up front, it's the way to go. So the Basic, this is a budget airline. They're going to play games with you. But the Basic is not what you want if you're checking a bag or carrying anything. Go with the Plus. We've used these guys a couple of times, and it's definitely worth the Plus. So with the Plus, as you can see, you get 2 large cabin bags, which is 44 pounds apiece. They're going to weigh both of them, which they actually didn't even weigh ours this time. And then you get to check one 55-pound bag. You're the first aboard. It's just so much less drama. So I highly recommend the Plus. And remember, everything's in pesos, so this price would be $100 basically. So if you just take the pesos and divide it by 20 on average, that's pretty well the average exchange rate. So that'd be basically $100. 2,000 pesos, $100. So that's nonstop. And if you pay for the bag separate, it will come out to a lot more than the 2,000 pesos. So you can look in that and all the bag fees. But just wanted to show you that app just really quick. I hope that helped. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying so hard to condense this. Please stay with me. You got a lot more eye-opening stuff up ahead. So real quick, what I did is I just booked all 5 of us on Volaris. It had the best times that we wanted. We took that 6:50 flight, if I remember right. It was delayed, but either way, so we flew to Tijuana. So you fly from Cabo San Lucas to Tijuana, it's a domestic flight. It's like flying from Atlanta to Birmingham or whatever. It's a domestic flight. So we flew to Tijuana. Upon arrival into Tijuana, you'll see on the video we had to take the bus. I wanted to film, what is it like in the Tijuana airport, but it was totally different than any other time we've ever been to Tijuana. And so I have another video on that. I'm going to put the link in the description for that so you can see exactly how to use the CBX bridge, which is what our friends did. And you can see what it's like to stay, this, that, and the other, how to take the trolley down to San Diego airport, whatever. So what we did is we flew into Tijuana. We got there, our friends took the CBX bridge. And what the CBX bridge is just simply a bridge that carries you into the United States. You clear customs right there in the bridge. You pay like $15 to go through it, if I remember right, but you buy your ticket right in baggage claim of the Tijuana airport. So you're walking right into the United States. You don't follow the same guidelines. You don't need a negative COVID test. So a lot of people do go that route. When you walk outside, I think there is a shuttle that comes like once an hour. It'll take you to San Diego Airport. I don't know much about it. We haven't ever tried it. What we personally do, we'd rather stay in Tijuana than we would stay in San Diego. I know it probably sounds crazy, but I just love Mexico. I'm kind of crazy like that. So I highly recommend the Grand Hotel in Tijuana. Is just an awesome hotel. Never had a bad time there. So what we did in this particular incident, we went to the Grand Hotel. Christina and I stayed the night. Our friends took the CBX Bridge. When they crossed over, he said they just took an Uber. They went to a hotel downtown, and they flew back to Atlanta the next morning from San Diego. So they got home, and everything worked great. So that's what you're about to see on the video coming up. Watch how we'll show you just a little bit of just how relaxed it is. We went from Terminal 2 to Terminal 1. Terminal 2 is where all the international flights are in Cabo. Everything's hectic. Everybody's worried. To Terminal 1, it's just all laid back. And you're about to see that here in just a second. So that's what you're about to see. All right. All right. So we're in Terminal 1 of the San Cabos. What is it? Los Cabos International. Los Cabos International Airport. We have decided to not partake in Mr. Biden's requirements, so therefore we're going to go to Tijuana. So it's technically a domestic flight. So
Which they don't require.
that's right, because we're just going to Tijuana.
Because we're rebels.
Absolutely. So just follow along. We'll show you our journey to Tijuana. Hasta luego. Salud. What do you got in there?
Pineapple, cucumber, meat leaves, and lemon juice. Delicious.
It looks delicioso.
Hasta la vista.
Le agradecemos tomar su asiento a la brevedad y mantener sus cubrebocas cómodas.
Opinion so far?
It's nice. It's pretty
Not
clean.
bad at all. Yeah, we're on Volaris.
This is the first time we're flying.
Second. We flew him to Guadalajara twice. So we paid the extra 100 pesos to sit here. It was well worth every penny. You agree? She's pretty cheap, so she agrees it's pretty. She's thrifty. Ain't that right, Mila?
Oh yeah, because I don't want to say much. Too much.
All right, man, boy.
I'm gonna pretend my eyes are open.
What do you think about Volaris?
It's a very elegant national.
It's a budget airline, but it ain't
Budget.
bad.
No.
So here's what you need to know about them. I'll do a separate video just on the airlines in Mexico, but definitely if you're checking a bag and you got carry-ons, which is 99% of us, just buy their best package. It's worth it. You're going to save money in the long run. It's so much less stress.
I agree.
We flew these folks twice to Guadalajara, and we didn't have fun.
It's a little turbulent.
A little turbulent, so excuse the...
We need to be awake.
Su atención, por favor, estamos pasando por una zona de turbulencia. Es importante que permanezca con el cinturón de seguridad abrochado.
She says we're going down. We need to take the emergency position.
Right here, open up the door.
Right, at least we are, we're close. She said get the parachute ready. Right?
Let's start praying.
Let's start praying, that's right.
It's not true. Just joking.
So, anyway, hope you like our mask.
Yeah.
So we took them to Guadalajara a couple of times and we hated them, but we were trying to do every little budget thing in the world, we're trying to stuff shit in coats and everything else to save weight and all that, just buy their decent package and enjoy them. They're pretty decent, you agree?
Yeah, they are.
They're pretty decent. So we fly first class quite often. And this is about as comfortable, really, truly, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So,
Nice.
it's nice. We got
The
tons,
presidents are very nice.
yeah, tons of leg room. We get the emergency exit row. Not bad. All right, we're going to Tijuana. We'll take you with us. Vámonos.
See you soon.
You gotta watch Netflix. Falsa Identidad.
Fake identity.
Fake identity.
It's a when actor that she's
Yes.
watching.
So now we're at the, what a day. Now we're on the autobus, waiting to go to the terminal.
Yep.
So we didn't film getting out of the aircraft in Tijuana. We were tired, it was late. They had a bus to take us to the airport, which I've never seen done in Tijuana, and we didn't really film much. So I will link a video in. We just came back from Querétaro not too terribly long ago and used Tijuana, and we showed exactly how to take the CBX bridge, which you can go in, and we also showed you how to get down to Tijuana. So basically we just got our bags, it's like normal, it's a domestic flight, and got a taxi cab. Normally we do Uber, but the airport's kind of expensive with Uber, so we just got a cab. We were wore out, and we took a cab here to the Grand Hotel, and then in the morning we'll show you how to go back across the border. We'll show you that, so stay tuned. All right, we look forward to it. We're gonna enjoy our margarita and have a Caesar salad. And as a fun fact, the Caesar salad was actually developed and created in Tijuana, believe it or not. That's where the Caesar salad was developed. So, all right, thank you so much. So as you saw, we had a good time. We enjoyed it. We were exhausted, as you can see in the videos. That was a good margarita they had. But we were super exhausted. We had a great time staying at the Grand. We enjoyed our breakfast. The Sunday breakfast is just, it's to die for. We thoroughly enjoyed our flight.
The flight crew was really nice.
Flight crew was amazing. Yeah, they were awesome. So it was better than our service back home on Alaska Airlines, that's for sure. So anyway, I'm going to show you now. We told you wait to the end. We're almost at the end. Please keep staying tuned. I know we ramble on, or I ramble on. We don't. I do. Watch this. This was eye-opening. So we didn't realize this till we got back.
International trips, they can't come home until they get a negative test. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez joins us from Newark Airport with more. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Robin, good morning. Yeah, we are seeing more and more airplanes return to the skies. But if you're traveling internationally, officials want you to know that you could be stranded. This morning, Americans returning to the skies in droves. The CDC is still urging people not to travel. In the U.S., you don't need a negative test to leave the country, but you do need one to come back home. It's a lesson some are learning the hard way.
I felt almost like I was being held hostage.
Antonio Delgado and his wife Shelly were in Cabo celebrating their 20th anniversary when he tested positive on his first trip during the pandemic.
We arrived back at the hotel, they were waiting for us out front, and said go straight to your room. Don't touch anything, don't talk to anybody, go straight to your room.
Delgado quarantined in his hotel room for 7 days before testing negative. CDC guidelines issued in January say Americans who test positive overseas cannot come back to the U.S. until they test negative. Corey Mudd was on his honeymoon with his wife Alicia in Riviera Maya, Mexico, when he got the news.
We came back to our room after being at the pool for them to tell me that I had tested positive, and my first initial reaction was that can't be right, because I didn't feel sick or anything at all.
He had tested positive on the 5th day of their trip and also couldn't come back to the U.S.
Hands, this is like people need to watch where they go on vacation.
A local police officer stranded in Mexico with his wife after they both tested positive for COVID, and they're not enjoying their extended stay here. Channel 11's Gabriela DeLuca talked to the couple this afternoon, and they gave a warning to anyone planning a trip right now.
As mitigation efforts wind down, people are wanting to get out of town and go on trips and vacations. One man did just that, and now he's found himself stuck in Mexico. This is the view outside of Doug Edgel's resort room in Cancun, Mexico, but he can't go out and enjoy it.
We're being held hostage down here. When they took us down this hall and put us in our room, there's a guard outside the door.
He and his wife are from Beaver County and were set to leave the Secrets the Vine resort earlier this week, but they tested positive for COVID-19.
When they did our COVID test, the one female nurse looked at the male nurse, and you could just tell something was up, and then they just scattered us and got us back to our room, made us pack everything. Last Father's Day, I had a massive heart attack, and I just went the beginning of this month and had another heart cath because I was having issues, and I have 2 more blockages that need taken care of, and this is not helping. And not having my heart medicines is not helping.
He's told the medical staff at the resort, but he hasn't had luck getting it.
They said that they would help me get the medicine, and they haven't done nothing. The only thing they got me was melatonin.
Now he's saying he won't be leaving the States for any other vacation.
A holiday vacation in Mexico has turned into an extended stay for Norman couple. Man says when they tried to return home from Mexico, he tested positive for COVID-19 and had to stay behind while his wife flew back to the metro. News 9's Brittany Toulis has more on his journey home.
Timothy Shannon said goodbye to his wife at a Mexican resort on the 23rd. Since then, the family spending Christmas, New Year's, and their 19th anniversary over FaceTime. The most frustrating part, Timothy says, is with the new CDC guidelines, he and the airline say he should be okay to fly.
Today's kind of tough, too, because today is my actual anniversary.
Timothy Shannon and his wife went to Mexico the week before Christmas as an early anniversary celebration. They planned to fly home on the 23rd, but had to get a COVID test 24 hours prior. His came back positive.
We had been taking temperatures at every restaurant all day long. I'd really had no symptoms whatsoever. They said that my wife was still okay to fly.
He and his wife have 4 kids, and this year Timothy had to spend Christmas morning hundreds of miles away.
They're still at that age where, you know, time is kind of getting short, so every vacation, every holiday is important, so missing one is not something that you want to have happen.
Still asymptomatic on the 27th when the CDC changed the quarantine guidelines, allowing travelers with a positive test result to fly with proof of recovery from a doctor, which Timothy had. But the third-party app, Verifly's policies, hadn't updated yet.
They only have a spot to submit one form. So you either have to choose to submit your positive COVID test or your doctor release letter, but you can't submit both. The problem is that doesn't meet the guidelines with the airlines.
He went to the airport on the 27th, hoping to catch a flight back home, but instead had to make the hour-long return trip to the resort.
The security wouldn't let me through the gate. They basically said I had checked out, so I was no longer a guest of the hotel.
Okay, real quick. As you can see in those videos, it's super eye-opening. If you take the test on the resort, they literally physically say, hey, get your stuff, you're coming with us. They lock you in a room, there's a guard out front. I mean, you had the one police officer from Pennsylvania, he's like, I'm never leaving the United States again. And I'm like, let's get the heck out of here all the time to my wife. I feel like we're going nuts. I think the whole world's going nuts over this whole COVID thing, but things are getting better. I'm super optimistic. But I want to say all that. Don't let all these restrictions scare you. So my advice for myself, take it if you want, whatever. I recommend just booking to Tijuana, not even having the full of the test, because you don't know if you're going to test positive or not. And there's a lot of false positive tests out there, according to what we're hearing from the people at the airline. And people are getting stuck. Even if it's a false test, you're stuck there for 10 days if you take it at the resort. So go to a resort if that's your thing. That's not Christina and I's thing. We like to get out and have a good time and go explore real Mexico. But we speak the language, and we have family. She has family scattered everywhere. And we enjoy a different Mexico in a whole different light. But if going to Mexico and going to the resort's your thing, go do it. Have a good time. But all I'm saying is, hey, I would take charge of my life. I'm not losing my freedom for anybody if I can help it. That's why I don't break the law, because I don't want to lose my freedom. So I would go to the resort, have a great time, but I would book my own ride back to the airport. I'm not going to be having some resort control what I'm doing, and I would test at the airport. Please follow the video and the link that I have for testing at Cabo Airport. It's so easy, and it took a little time, but it was so easy. So that's why I recommend doing that. So our friends, just to kind of sum this up, our friends that we helped out, did we help them in the right way? Some people probably are like, no, that's crazy. You just helped them spread COVID all over the whole world, but that's not the case. So when they got back to Atlanta, she went to her primary doctor. He tested her for COVID-19, and she actually tested negative. So it could have been we feel like it was a false positive, or it might not have been a false positive. It might have been picking up COVID from what she had prior to. But keep in mind, she was fully vaccinated. She'd already had COVID 1 or 2 times. Like Christina, I can't remember the story on that, but at least once she had recovered. We do know she most recently recovered from COVID a couple months prior to the trip. We feel like that's probably the reason why she tested positive, is because she recently recovered. So this may happen to one of you, and I wanted you to know your options. So if you've already booked, if you've booked with a decent airline, like Southwest is really good about it. Alaska Airlines and Delta is really good about it. I think American Airlines is. United, we've never had a horror story, but a lot of people have. Either way, if this happens to you, don't panic. Our advice is take it at the airport. When you get the results, then you and your family can make an informed decision on what you want to do and how you want to get back. Do you want to? If you feel like you really have it, then hey, we recommend get a place and stay. Don't infect everybody else, right? But if you don't feel like you've had it and you ran into a similar situation like this and you already had planned to fly back, just know that Tijuana is a great option. You can fly to the Tijuana airport and walk right back in the United States, get down to San Diego. There's a trolley if you walk in from the main entrance, or you have the CBX bridge. You can either Uber or take a little shuttle that I think that they offer there as well. So just wanted to kind of give you some different ideas. Now, real quick, Christina, we'll cut back in. I'm going to cut her back in with me. We're going to dive into Ivermectin, if that's something you're interested in. If not, thank you so much for watching. And please, most of all, subscribe to our channel and please hit the bell. Thank you so much. And I mean, I love our country.
We gotta send this gringo back to Mexico.
I'm ready to go back. Vamos. So we prefer Tijuana. We just showed you how we took a really bad situation, we turned it good. Now, our friends are still scared to death. I don't know if we'll ever get them back to Mexico. What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. But we had a good time. I'm like, hey, no problem. We'll cancel our flight. We'll go with you. And let's go have a good time. And we begged them to stay in Tijuana with us at the Grand.
We have more... a little bit more experience, and I speak the language, so that's why he said.
And I speak a lot of the language, especially when cuando yo tengo tequila. My Spanish is good.
There's no tequila, you lost.
So, speaking of, I'm learning Spanish right now from another YouTuber. His name is Qroo Paul. I'm going to put his information in the link. He's a retired police officer from Florida, an amazing guy. And he's done some really cool videos.
Yeah, I like his.
He is sharp. It's better than the stuff you pay for. So I'm going to put that in there. It's learning Spanish. It's something you want to do. And another question we get a lot of, and we have to bring a lot of it back for everybody, is the old Ivermectin. So how do you say it in Spanish, Christina?
Ivermectina.
So Ivermectina. So so when you get it in the U.S., if you get it like say from CVS or Walgreens, it's going to come in, if you can find one of them to fill it for you, it's going to come in 3 milligram pills. These come in 6. So just know that you're going to get 4 pills, and this cost us how many pesos? I think it came out to $4.50. It depends on the pharmacy. Basically $4 to $5. So that would be equivalent to getting 8 ivermectins in the U.S. because they're double the milligrams. So you can go to any pharmacy that we've been to. Most of them all have it. We've got it in Querétaro. We've got it in San Miguel de Allende. We got it in Bernal, and we recently got it in, where was that at? La Paz?
La Paz.
La Paz. And just tell them you want Ivermectina.
Ivermectina.
Ivermectina. And you don't need a prescription. I love Mexico. You have the control over your body in Mexico. No one else controls it. I love that. So, I hope those tips helped. I know this has been a longer video. I know I like to ramble on, but I feel like we had a lot of good information packed into this. And our advice is just say you lived in Seattle. Fly Seattle nonstop to Cabo, St. Lucas. Have the time of your life. You do not have to have a COVID test or vaccine or any of that mess to get into Mexico. Just fly down there. They want you how you are. Have a good time. And then when you leave, go to Tijuana on one of the Mexican airlines, whether it be Volaris, Aeromexico, and what's the other one? Viva Aerobus?
Viva Aerobus.
We've been hearing good about Viva Aerobus. We haven't tried them yet. We got to try them next.
Right.
We were pretty impressed with Volaris. I say we go with whoever has the best nonstop, the best flight time that you want, back to Tijuana. Please don't forget, subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of stuff. We got like 6 months worth of videos we got to get out and produced and put together. We've made this one priority, and we're two weeks late, 2 or 3 weeks late getting it out. So that's the video we've been promising everybody. What do you do if you get test positive? And the answer is follow the CDC guidelines, or if you want to be crazy like Adam and Christina, go to Tijuana, walk in, vámonos.
But first of all, you gotta have faith in God.
That's right.
That's the main thing.
Don't stay at home. Whatever you do, do not stay in the United States. Get out and have fun. You agree with that?
Yes, enjoy life.
Enjoy life. That's what I say. All right. Until next time, hasta luego. Estamos en contacto. Arre.